This is a really baffling story. And again, I've been covering this, I guess for the past week or so now. But the main problem with Texas is not windmills. It's not the Green New Deal. Again, Greg Abbott, as soon as this weather disaster started, Greg Abbott went on television to blame the Green New Deal. So Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, wants to simultaneously take credit for stopping the Green New Deal, and then also says that his energy infrastructure failed because of the Green New Deal. Makes no sense. So, big Texas corporations demand storm survivors go without pay. Dallas. First, they had to deal with a nightmare of a winter storm and historic assault that wiped out their power, heat, water, or all three at once. Now they have to deal with bosses denying them pay. Internal company emails and text messages obtained by the Daily Beast indicate that dozens of employers in Texas, many of them in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, have told people who were unable to go to work or work remotely due to the loss of electricity during last week's destructive winter storm that they must consider the lost days as vacation or otherwise go without pay. There are not small businesses either. Several large companies are among them, such as Bell Textron Incorporated, formerly known as Bell Helicopter, United Ag and Turf, Bay Systems, and the city of Dallas itself. And workers are seething. So again, not only do you have to pay $17,000 for an electricity bill, not only do you have to not have access to clean water, but you also have to lose on work and then not get paid for that. So you get $17,000, right, of unexpected charges, and then you lose on weeks or 2 weeks worth of salary. It's ridiculous. We are required to use vacation days on the days of the storm when I had no heat or Wi-Fi, or I can forfeit the money and not get paid, a Bell Helicopter employee who, like other workers quoted in this report, spoke under the condition of anonymity for fear of retaliation, told the Daily Beast. I'm disappointed and nervous about the next year, the worker said, adding that even though I'm salaried, I'm entry level, and any knock to my income will put me on the street, and that's terrifying. Representatives from Bell did not return a call or email requesting comment, but emails sent by management and reviewed by the Daily Beast made the policy clear. Quote, employees who are unable to fully dedicate their time and attention to company business due to current conditions should use available paid time off, vacation, or holiday flex time if they wish to be paid for today. Otherwise, employees who do not have any remaining paid time off, vacation, or holiday flex time, or do not wish to use their unused paid time off, vacation, or holiday flex time will not be paid for today, read an email sent last week from Bell Executive Management. The worker told the Daily Beast that Bell facilities were closed the entire week, but that at one point they were unable to access the VPN, a virtual private network that allows them to access company systems, meaning many employees at Bell couldn't work from home even when they had electricity. So again, not only are you having to pay $17,000, then you don't have heat or electricity, your kids are dying, right? Not only that, right? But then let's say you manage to go up to a McDonald's drive-thru and get on some Wi-Fi, then your work isn't even open. And they're not even going to pay you. They say it's your fault. It's ridiculous. Executives at United Ag and Turf, a John Deere equipment dealer, and managers at BAE Systems, a British multinational arms security and aerospace company, sent similar messages. But they also allowed employees to effectively borrow paid time off, which would come out of their future allotments of pay, according to emails reviewed by the Daily Beast. Now again, these are multinational corporations. They've got the fucking money. They just choose to make their workers suffer. It's about control. It's about saying there's nothing we will do to help you. Work for us as, indentured servants or die. That is their policy. Some employees did not appreciate the offer. I just feel like people should know. It's not right, an employee at BAE Systems told the Daily Beast. A spokesperson for BAE Systems told the Daily Beast, as a government contractor, there are regulations we must follow for labor charged by our employees. The events of last week are unusual, and we work with employees on how to properly handle any time they were unable to work. In addition, we activated our immediate response program to support our colleagues and provide financial assistance to affected employees and their families. Employees at United Ag and Turf, meanwhile, were even told that they must take responsibility for maintaining a time-off balance in case such events occur in the future. This despite the devastating storm and associated power crisis being the largest insurance claim event in Texas history. To be prepared for circumstances like this in the future, each employee is expected to manage their paid time off and encouraged to always carry a balance for unexpected situations. I'm not even going to bother. It's ridiculous. United Ag and Turf did not respond to a request for comment. I feel angry. They could have said nothing and been fine. They could have paid people for the canceled days and looked like heroes. They instead opted to add insult to injury. Unbelievable. For-profit employers are not the only ones who have told their employees that they must use their vacation days. Even some government employees have been affected. The other thing about government employees, again, it's one thing if a private company chooses to fuck their citizens over. It's a whole nother story if a government chooses to fuck its citizens over. That's a whole different calculus. Even some government employees have been affected. An email sent to the library department of the city of Dallas told employees to use personal leave time for lost work. The veracity of the email was confirmed by a Dallas City Council member, Adam Bazulda, as well as a city communications representative, Catherine Quaylar. It is really disheartening that HR, parents, who have worked entirely from home the past year, by the way, get to just decide whether people get paid or not, one city employee said. Quaylar told the Daily Beast that those without available paid time off, they can either make up the time within the pay period or apply for emergency administrative paid leave. Nobody gets to just decide anything. We have a process and layers of accountability for taxpayer dollars. Jesus fucking Christ. So it becomes a question at the federal government level whether or not paying the worker emergency administrative pay was a necessary expense during the weather event, Quaylar added. That has always been the city's policy for emergency weather-related pay for a decade, she said. When asked whether the policy could be changed to cover all employees, Quaylar said that things would be handled on a case-by-case basis. Again, this is the largest disaster in Texas, in modern Texas history, right? And they're going to pretend like it's it's Jenny decided to not come into work today. Jenny could have came into work today. I saw, I had some of my dogs walk the little area. There weren't any ice on the road. She could have drove to work today, but she chose not to. There was a McDonald's nearby that she could have gotten the Wi-Fi off of, but she chose not to. She chose to stay with her children to make sure that they were okay. How dare she? She doesn't deserve any pay. It's ridiculous. Austin Kaplan, an employment lawyer based in Austin, described these situations as a consequence of a lack of adequate labor protections in a state with notoriously weak safeguards for workers. There's no requirement in Texas that people pay any vacation time at all. There's just no safety net or anything like that, Kaplan told the Daily Beast. That means that it's entirely up to employers to decide how to handle the fallout. Some, like Cisco, not only paid their employees for the lost days, but also offered offices as shelter and sent resources for mental health support. But it appears that they are in the minority, and without any clear sign of government taking action. Governor Greg Abbott has hinted at relief for workers facing sky-high electricity bills, but little else. They appear to be on their own. In my estimation, The state that turned the power grid off ought to be the one paying, Kaplan said. Again, they knew that the storm was coming. They decided to profit off of it by raising the energy prices while not telling anyone until like 12 hours beforehand. Then they turned people's electricity off with no warning. And then they made people pay $17,000. They lied about the wind turbines. They lied about the Green New Deal. They lied to protect fossil fuel industries. Corporations are saying, fuck it, whatever. We're not even going to pay you. So I know you now have to pay a year's worth of salary for a week's worth of electricity that you barely even got to begin with. But we're not even going to pay you for this week or last week. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And again, this is the cult of capitalism, folks. This is the cult of capitalism. A system of governance that says, I don't care if you live or die. All I care about is making as much money as I possibly can. I wouldn't, like, these CEOs could take a 0.1% pay cut and probably make sure all their employees are fine, but they choose not to. Why? They don't need that 0.1% extra pay. They don't need that. But they want it because they're greedy scumbags. There's no reason why you would increase energy prices by 900% or 9,000%, whatever the calculus is, other than because you want to sap every possible dollar out of the workforce and then leave them to die in the dust. Just absorb all the money in their bank accounts while they freeze to death in their homes and their family is left destitute. That is the cult of capitalism. And is Joe Biden going to provide any relief? Is Greg Abbott going to provide any relief? Probably not. It's disgusting. The idea that someone can, is the idea that someone can get hit with $17,000 and then their employer says it's a bad personal decision and then they've got 10 years worth of debt that they have to pay off is ridiculous. And again, a lot of people will take that to heart. A lot of people will say, it is a personal decision. I should have known. Why didn't I know? Why didn't I prepare better? Instead of saying, oh wait, society's the one that failed me.